President Obama's health care law will stand as a historic Supreme Court ruling is handed down.
It should be pretty clear by now that I didn't do this because it was good politics. I did it because I believed it was good for the country.
But while the White House celebrates, there are plenty of opponents who vow the fight is far from over.
The government has no business being a part of that mandate. That is the #1 overarching reason.
Today's decision will have an impact on every American and a significant effect on the presidential race. We have live team coverage tonight at the Supreme Court ruling. Rebecca Cooper has reaction from patients and business owners. But first, we start tonight with Scott Thuman, who is inside the Supreme Court today. He is live with what it all means. Scott?
Well, Allison, I can look back to 2010 when I was in the East Room of the White House with the president, and he signed this bill into law, and there was this palpable sense of both relief and excitement. What we saw out here today in front of the Supreme Court kind of blew that away as far as Democrats' excitement. However, 5-4 decision on this one, and the fact that the court ruled it was indeed a tax has perhaps only furthered the resolve of Republicans that they need to win in November.
We will not comply. We will not comply.
While the Supreme Court may have clarified matters, it also elevated the argument. So-called Obamacare, much of which won't take effect until 2014, will remain mostly intact, and specifically the individual mandate, which means a big victory for Democrats who've painted themselves as champions for the poor and uninsured.
If you want to know what democracy looks like, come to Constitution Avenue. This is what democracy looks like.
I know there will be a lot of discussion today about the politics of all this, about who won and who lost. That's how these things tend to be viewed here in Washington.
Republicans hope he's right and believe this ruling will further energize voters, helping elect Mitt Romney in November.
What the court did not do on its last day in session, I will do on my first day if elected President of the United States. And that is, I will act to repeal Obamacare.
Now they're more angry, and they're going to come out to vote against President
But one question that they have not answered is, what is their plan? What would they do? Would they let us continue with 40 million Americans without health insurance?
But Republicans did claim one victory today. The Supreme Court called the government's penalty for those who refuse to buy insurance a tax, a term the Obama administration has avoided, understanding tax hikes often mean election losses.
Now, the other big provision of this that was being debated today was that the states would need to take part in this large Medicaid expansion or possibly lose out on federal funding. The court ruled that that expansion is okay, but that the federal government can't threaten to withhold funding from the states if they choose not to take part. And by the way, if you think we're all done with this, think again. In just 2 weeks, the GOP-led House plans to vote on a possible repeal. Outside the Supreme Court tonight, Scott Thuman, ABC7 News.
And Scott, as you know, it was a 5-4 decision with Chief Justice John Roberts breaking with the other conservative justices to be the deciding factor in the end. Other than Roberts' vote, the split on today's ruling was not a big surprise. The court's 4 liberal justices were in the majority opinion, along with Roberts, while Justices Samuel Alito, Anthony Kennedy, Antonin Scalia, and Clarence Thomas dissented. Candace?
And whether you support or oppose the health care law, it will have an impact on you. Rebecca Cooper continues our live team coverage from Georgetown with reaction from those who will feel the effects the most.
Well, ever since the President Obama's health care plan was passed, voters and business leaders were divided over whether or not the mandate would be a good thing or a bad thing for the health care system and for the economy. Today's reaction to the ruling shows the nation remains divided. Linda House works at D.C.'s cancer support community, and Cheryl Jernigan is a cancer survivor whose husband battles cancer as well. For her, the ruling alleviates one reason she wakes up at night.
Worrying about whether my husband would have to not have treatment because we couldn't afford it, we couldn't have the health insurance, and have to watch him die because he wasn't getting the comprehensive cancer treatment that he needed.
There were a lot of cheers that went up. There were a number of patients who felt relief that they had a safety net under them.
But many small business owners are worried the ruling could make the cost of doing business prohibitive.
A small business person just doesn't need one more thing that they have to follow. So it is a concern.
Polls show nationwide 61% of voters oppose all or parts of the Obama health care plan.
No, it hasn't helped us at all. I have seen no evidence it's helped us, except that our company's now having to offer insurance to children that are up to 26, 27 years old.
But former Assistant Surgeon General Susan Blumenthal insists coverage for all will help rein in costs.
We rank 49th on life expectancy. We spend twice as much on health care as any other nation in the world, and we don't emphasize prevention. Today, this changes everything.
And in the Washington area, many voters today say they agree.
That's a very good thing for American people. It should be about everyone being healthy.
Now, the state of Maryland had already passed a state law to set up the type of health care exchanges called for in the Obama health care plan. Virginia had resisted. D.C. was moving forward but did not yet have those exchanges implemented. Now all states and the district will have to set up exchanges under the Obama health care plan. Reporting live in Georgetown, Rebecca Cooper, ABC7 News.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. Our health care coverage isn't over yet. Coming up at 5:30, a closer look at the big crowd outside of the Supreme Court for today's decision, including, get this, belly dancers and the Grim Reaper.
Well, now we turn to some more breaking news.